Vamos ver aqui, mano, estava a dizer para ver um vídeo deste do Nick Di Giovanni. Deixa eu ver assim um fixe. O maior donut do mundo. Puta, olha este donut, bro. E esta senhora já não está cá, man.
Largest donut to break the Guinness World Record.
Linda, né? Linda.
Break the world record.
We've got to find the perfect donut to replicate. Can I please just get one of everything? As we all know, donuts come in many different shapes and sizes.
You have your classic original cake donut.
My personal favorite, the butternut donut.
A good old glazed
Glazing.
And of course, all sorts of different frosted ones. After lots of deliberation and even a bit of arguing, we finally settled
Ri para a senhorazinha, mano. Eu vi alguns TikToks dela.
the iconic
É linda.
frosted Homer Simpson style donut.
Este donut, mano.
But here's where
Eu
things
sou
get
um
crazy.
gordo, bro.
When searching the internet for inspiration, Linda and I came across something called a donut cake.
It's exactly what it sounds like.
A perfect harmony
Ela é bem
of donut
fofinha, man.
and two of the best foods in the entire world. The big question is, can it break an official world record? We're here at the bakery.
And we're starting with this Linda-sized bowl. This is
Cabecinha dela ali.
Grandma's famous chocolate cake recipe.
We're starting with some oil
Next,
Óleo.
some sugar,
and a bunch of brown sugar,
then a
Óleo.
bunch of eggs,
then 5 pounds of sour cream,
Fica puta.
then 5 pounds of sour cream.
and some homemade vanilla extract.
Now we'll lock it into our giant mixer.
Foda-se, olha para esta merda. Que puta de máquina, que é isto?
This mixer is almost as tall as me.
And
Foda-se.
then it's time for our first mix.
That's what good cake sounds like.
Now to finish it off, we'll go
Ui.
with some flour.
And
Ela
now the
sabe o que
cocoa
diz.
powder.
Now our second mix. Then finally our last ingredient, some steaming
Café.
hot coffee.
Coffee boosts the chocolate flavor and baked goods.
Ah, é?
Now it's time
Sabia.
to start baking.
I guess
We're gonna
smile.
be filling 100 trays to make our donut. In we go.
30 minutes later, our cake is done.
E vai com as
Now, hands of
mãos.
steel. After lots of baking,
We have a Linda stack of cakes.
A torre
I
linda.
think it's time to assemble. This attempt will be judged by
Lembro do
Britain, a
parque
Guinness World
dos
Records
Simpsons.
adjudicator. We also have Dennis, the health inspector, to make sure that the food is
Olha, o
handled
Dennis é
properly. The
fodido.
challenge today is time.
Nick and Linda, you have 8 hours to finish this cake, or I have to disqualify you for food safety reasons.
Tem
I don't make
8
the rules.
horas.
You do make the rules, though. This is the footprint of our giant donut we'll be making today, which, if we pull it off,
Vai.
will be the equivalent of 1,500 regular donuts.
All the sheet cakes have been cut in half.
But our first step is to cover the base with buttercream.
Yeah.
Once we have
Há
our
uns
first
que
layer of
estão,
buttercream, we'll
outros que
start
não.
going down with our cake. Each layer of our donut is going to have 6 sheet cakes. We're going to be trimming this down later to make sure it looks
estranho.
perfect, but for now we can break off the edges,
Aí é
throw
bom.
it into our bucket.
No lixo.
None
Ah,
of
estava a
this
ver,
cake today
foda-se.
will be going to waste. We'll be donating all the food through FarmLink later on today.
Ah, vão doar depois
First
a
layer is
comida.
done, and then we're going to repeat it 10 times.
Real quick, the buttercream we're using today is the same
ele
recipe
tem-
that's in my
ele tem
cookbook,
uma
and it is the best
receita.
buttercream frosting you will ever taste.
Maroto.
Into the
Ui, ficou ali com um bocadinho.
fridge this goes to chill for 20 minutes. Thanks, Linja. We need to let this chill so it can firm up, because we'll be doing exactly this 2 more times. After chilling
Ui.
the donut for 1 hour,
Parece a minha mãe a
we
fazer
added the next
bolos.
3 layers onto the cake. Our layers
Simãozinho, obrigado pelo dia. Olha, Rafael, obrigado por o aninho. Bola, boas noites. Rafinha, Xinica, Caveira, Luísa, beijinho. Não me fiz, obrigado pelos 15.
It's time to
Obrigado
start
pelos 15,
spreading the
não fiz.
buttercream once again, where we'll then add the final 3 layers to our cake.
Just so you know, in order for this to count as a new Guinness World Records title, the donut cake has to be at least 1 foot high.
30 centímetros de altura.
We're finally putting on the final layer of cake.
But the big challenge right now is that we're up against the time.
Eu vou ter que
We're
fazer
a
um
little
furinho,
behind
né?
schedule, and we got 3 hours to go.
We are now at the point where we're ready to carve the cake, and it's going to start taking the shape of a donut.
What we're holding here are the stencils.
These are going to be helping guide us to know how much cake to cut off. Our
Ela é
stencil is on
baixinha, bem
top, meaning
fofa,
we want
man.
to carve off this part right here. Linda's going to be catching all those cake scraps so we can eat those later. To me, so far, this is the most satisfying part of anything we've done today.
Yeah,
And
tá
it's really nice to
satisfatório.
finally see all the different layers that we've
Olha a
put together.
faca, mano.
Time's ticking. We only got 2 hours left.
Now that our donut is carved around the sides, we need the hole in the middle.
Pois,
and this is where the
buraquinho.
small stencil
Eu
comes
sei
in.
que
But in
ela
terms
morreu,
of
eu sei
the
que ela
stability
faleceu,
of
eu
this
sei,
donut,
eu
This
sei.
is where things start to get really dangerous. We don't want it collapsing in on itself, and we don't want it collapsing
Isto é
out. We're
perigoso.
almost finished taking out this hole in the center
Ai,
of our
olha, eu entrava ali, eu tirava a roupa e entrava e esfregava-me todo no dono. Ai,
donut. But I'll be honest, my
depois chamava alguém para me
arms
bilamber.
are getting pretty tired. This is what it takes to get a world record. It's definitely starting to take the shape of a donut, but to finish things off, I'm kneading together some of the cake and frosting scraps that we have. Then
Skinks.
bringing that over
Olha
to the
aí.
donut itself and pressing it across
Foi-
the top and some of the little cracks in the sides to make
Flexão?
sure it
Não.
looks perfect. When you mix cake and
Não.
frosting together, it basically makes a sort of Play-Doh. Now that it's really starting to look
Esse
like
é
a
o caso.
donut, we have to add a layer of frosting
Tá,
across
mesmo
the
pareceu um
entire
donut,
thing.
que
But this
fixe.
means we're getting pretty close. The thing that I'm really scared about right now is time. If we
Só
don't
que a
do
cena é
this
ser
within that 8 hour
bolo e não
mark,
mesmo
Dennis
um
will cost the
donut.
record.
As a reminder, this is what we're going for.
Caralho, mano, que puta de de donut.
And we're getting closer and closer. This
Aí
now
é
has to
bem.
go back in the fridge to firm up before we put the fondant on top. The fondant is what's going to lay
Não
across
tá a
the top of the
funcionar já
donut
os
and make it
emotes.
perfectly smooth. And at the very end, probably the coolest part of the day, we'll be airbrushing it to give some color and also dumping frosting across the top. And you're not going to want to miss that. For now, we'll just keep kneading this until it's as smooth as a baby's bottom.
How do you know what a baby's bottom feels like?
Pois,
This
já,
whole
isso é
machine right
verdade.
here
Foi
is
bocado
basically a
sus.
giant version of a pasta machine. But instead of rolling out pasta dough, we're rolling out fondant. Now we'll turn the lever up
Fondant.
so it's a bit thinner, and again we go. And after we've rolled out our first slice, we'll lay it carefully and gently over our donut.
This right here is a fondant smoother. Wax on, wax off.
Wax
Now that
on,
our
wax
fondant is all
off.
laid out,
Que
We're
fixe.
in the home stretch.
This is called an airbrush, and it's what's going to allow us to
Parece que é o
paint
gajo que
the
faz as
whole donut.
tatuagens,
We're
mas está a tatuar o donut.
multiple coats and colors in order to achieve that classic
Aquela
realistic
corzinha,
donut look.
yeah.
Now that our donut is the perfect golden brown color,
Okay.
we get to do the part that we're most excited for.
Pouring on our glaze.
We have to hope and pray right now that this doesn't fall too far down the sides or we won't get the record. Here we go. We're gonna go all around the top of the donut and let it fall however it wants to. We also have to make sure we keep this as even as possible, giving us the perfect frosted donut. Linja, this is probably one of the most
Está
satisfying
bué da
things I've ever
fixe,
seen in cooking.
man.
Our frosting is done and these are the sprinkles that are gonna
Que
complete
puta
our
de
donut.
They're made
sprinkles.
out of fondant.
At this point, it's time to channel our inner salpe and add a bunch of sprinkles to finish it off. I've got to use a special strategy to hit it from the
Caralho,
side.
isto ficou muito
We definitely
fixe, ficou
made the
muito
biggest
bom.
donut now, but one question remains.
Is it official?
I can confirm
E a do
we
Guinness?
have a
O que eu
final
conheço
weight,
uma dentada 100%.
225.9 pounds. And that
Libras.
makes this
Isso é quanto?
a brand new Guinness World Records title. Congratulations once again.
Vou
You
chamar o Cálcio e vamos nós bater este recorde, mano.
both are officially amazing.
And the best part of it all, you'll find this
Jesus.
donut in the Guinness World Records book of 2024.
Wow.
You'll be able to read about this record and all the other ones we've broken
109
right here.
quilos.
Huge thanks to Oak Leaf
Puta-se.
Bakery for letting us use their
Que puta de fatia, mano. Estão aqui 3 bolos de aniversário.
facilities. All of this food today will be donated throughout
Vão doar a
Boston with the
comida.
help of the Farmling Project.
Muito
Comment below
fixe.
what record you want us to break next.
Muito fixe, mano. Gostei deste vídeo, bro. Gostei do Nick. Eu já tinha visto um vídeo dele.